Hello River Run and welcome to this week's rundown video. I want to say a quick thank you to everyone who joined us for trivia last week in the Wildcat, for our Sweetheart events down at the Tennis Center and up here in the Wildcat and at Slice. We've had a lot going on. I am going to let the directors talk because we're going to hear from Wes Marshall, we're going to hear from Tim Mooney and Josh Buds all about phase 2 of this golf course project. So we've got a lot of information coming your way in this rundown. So stay tuned and let's see what the rest of the directors have going on.
Well, good afternoon, River Run members. I'm happy to report our pickleball and tennis courts are finishing up today. It's Friday, February 14th, Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's to everybody out there. We've got a great product out here. Thanks for your patience. Sorry it took so long, but we finally got here and we've got a great product that you all will hopefully enjoy. So next coming up is our phase 2 of golf renovations, and that will begin first part of March. We're going to have another town hall meeting February 24th at 6 p.m. to fill you in on all the details of that. If you'd like to attend, love to see you out there. I'm going to turn it over to Josh Buds, our golf course superintendent, and Tim Mooney, our director of golf, who will give you more insights as to the golf renovations and what we're going to be doing.
All right, thanks Wes. Tim Mooney here alongside Josh Buds, golf course superintendent, and we're getting ready for a closure. We've got a course closure, or at least renovation, starting in about 2 weeks, March 3rd, right?
Getting close.
So we're getting down to it, and we wanted to take the time to make sure everybody knows exactly what's going to be going on here at River Run. I think one common misconception here is that we are just redoing the greens. And while we are redoing the greens, we're also going to take this time when we're closed to enhance some of the other areas on the golf course. So Josh and I are out here right now on number 6. And Josh, tell us about some other things that these members can expect here in the next couple months.
Yes, hello everybody. Very excited about the project that we're about to begin. Right here, we're on number 6, which is an area that has been an issue for quite some time now. This area has been built up with silt over time from all the flooding coming from the creek. And because of this built-up silt, it's allowing water to get trapped outside of the creek, not allowing for water to flow back into the creek naturally. So what we're going to be doing is coming in to these areas. We're going to peel back the creek, get rid of the silt that's there, and regrade this area so that the elevation that we're at up here will flow naturally back into the creek here on both sides of the cart path, so that when it does flood, when it does rain, water will naturally flow back into the creek. We'll also be installing a lot of drainage in this area as well. For any water that stays outside the creek, it'll find its way back into the creek through the drainage. This area is an issue with stakes always being up, my staff not being able to get in to clean up the leaves, spray, do our type of maintenance. It's also an issue for the golfers if your golf ball were to end up here with nowhere to play, having to take it out of these wet areas. It's going to improve the aesthetics as well as the playability of this hole.
Awesome, awesome. I know since I've been here coming up on 2 years, this area, it could be the middle of summer, middle of June, we haven't seen rain in 25, 30 days and this area still stays wet. But one thing I just want to confirm, so obviously we're going to be peeling things back a little bit. Now, this isn't going to prevent this creek from coming out in a crazy flood, that one flood we get every summer with 6 inches of rain. The creek's still going to flood, right? Is that the case?
It is going to. There's nothing we can do to prevent flooding. What we're going to do is prevent water and debris staying outside of the creek after it floods. We want the water that floods to go back into the creek naturally instead of stay outside of it.
Good. So more so here, instead of it sitting just like it is now, this water is going to have the opportunity to flow right back into the creek and dry up a lot quicker.
That's right.
Awesome.
We're also going to be doing similar work to this to the creek on 7. Let's go over there and check it out.
Okay, sounds good. All right, Josh, so now we're here on 7, 7 Green, 7 Creek, and you know, I would assume, you tell me, somewhat similar to what we're doing on 6, we may do here on 7, and hopefully we just had 3 inches of rain in the last week. Hopefully maybe we'd address some of these issues like the standing water that we find in front of 7.
Yes. So coming from 6 Creek that we just talked about, this is going to be exactly like 6 Creek, but on a much higher scale.
Okay.
This area, as you can see, there's standing water when we get heavy rains, and the reason for that is all the silt built up from over the years right next to the creek is not allowing this water to flow naturally back into the creek. Just like number 6, we're gonna peel back this edge and pull all that material from the creek edge into this area so that it'll flow naturally into the creek, so we won't get this standing water. We're also going to be installing a lot of drainage in this area, so anything that does try to stand on top will find its way in the drain lines back into the creek. And while we're in this area, there's multiple bowls and low areas on each side of the creek, each side of the green. We're going to fill all this in, regrade it so that it's a consistent slope going up to number 7 green. This will improve the drainage, which is most important, but also the playability. All the work taking place on this side of the creek is also going to happen on that side of the creek. Any trapped water that's going to be in the fairway is going to be able to flow back into the creek, which will improve the drainage and the playability of the golf hole. Since we're talking about the fairway side of this creek, let's go on back there and check out the fairway work that we're going to be doing.
All right, Josh, so we're back here on number 7, and we want to express to the membership, you know, obviously this time of year we get a lot of rain, we stay wet, we have a couple problem areas on the course. You know them as well as I do, 3, 5, 7, 10, 18, that just, it seems like they take forever to dry. So talk to us about what we're going to do here on 7 and kind of what we can expect on the rest of the holes here during the project.
Yes, we're going to be addressing the worst part of our fairways. Not all the fairways, just some sections on each fairway. This is the biggest area that we're going to address here on hole number 7. As you can see, it is very wet right now. From the landing area in the middle of the fairway where we stand all the way up to the creek area. And there's a few reasons for that. 1, we don't have any drainage that's installed underneath. And 2, it's not graded very well. As you can see, this fairway, the high points of this hole is on the left and the right side, and everything funnels to the middle of the fairway, which does not allow water to drain correctly. Everything flows to the middle. So what we're going to do to this area is regrade this fairway from the left side to the right side to allow water to move in the correct direction. But more importantly, what we're going to do is we're going to take out 4 inches of clay that does not drain very well, and we're going to add 4 inches of sand on top. Drains much better than clay. After we grade out the area, swap out the clay for the sand, we're going to install a lot of drainage from here to the creek so that any water that does try to stand is going to find its way in the drain lines and drain into the creek. This is a very important area because of the landing area, hitting your second shots into this green. It's probably the most important fairway area that we're going to address, but we will be doing similar work like this to holes 3, 5, 7, 10, 18. In addition to the fairway work we just talked about on hole 7, a much smaller scale of that we plan on addressing this summer, taking advantage of the golf course being closed. Me and my staff are going to find areas like this that I call them bird baths, just low areas that sit in each fairway and hold water after rain events, even after we run water in our new irrigation system. My crew's going to come in, cut an area out like this, add drainage, add sand, raise these bird baths up in the air so that the water has somewhere to go and nowhere for it to just sit over time like we see today.
All right, well, thanks, Josh. Let's go take a look at the green surrounds and what we're going to do there.
All right.
All right, Josh, so now we are out here on number 2. And so now we're going to get into a significant part of the work, I think, is obviously the greens that we're going to redo, but more specifically the collars. So talk to us a little bit about the collars. What can we expect there?
Yes, the collar work and the green surround work that we have built into this project that we're going to do around every single green that we have out here is definitely my most favorite part of the project. I think it's going to improve the playability and just overall green surrounds drastically.
Sure.
what we have here where Tim is standing on our collar has actually built up over time. And if you can see the elevation that I'm standing at right here, it's a much lower elevation once you get onto the green. This naturally happens over time on golf courses when you top dress greens on a weekly basis. The green surrounds and the collars actually grow up higher, which makes it much harder to maintain for my staff, but also really affects the playability that Tim's gonna get into. But when we get here for the project, our plan is to lower the green surrounds and the collar to the elevation of the green so that it naturally flows from the green, off the green, as well as off the green, onto the green. On a maintenance side of that, it's going to help us with water getting trapped, similar to our creeks. Right now, if it rains, there's nowhere for the water to go here and not flow off the green. It'll get trapped from this collar damming, is what we call it. But this area around the greens that we're going to do is going to improve everything drastically. I'll let Tim get into the playability side of it.
Yeah, you know, I think the biggest thing that I'm excited for in this renovation isn't necessarily, you know, the green work that's getting done, but it is the collars and the approaches. So right now, if I'm hitting a shot from 150 yards out and we do have a back left pin, unlike today, and I hit a ball that lands here, 9 times out of 10, that ball that lands right here isn't moving. So I think what we have right now is the zoysia grass. The zoysia is very sticky. That golf ball hits the grass and it just stays. Obviously next year we're going to move to, is it called Tahoma? Is that what it is?
Be Tahoma Bermuda grass.
So with this grass, it's going to give me the opportunity to hit a shot from 150 yards. It may bounce here. More likely than not, it's going to release onto the green. I think another major component too is if our ball does stop and land right here, it's a lot easier to hit a pitch shot from a Tahoma grass as opposed to the zoysia that we got now.
That's right.
A lot easier to play shots around the green, the bump and runs that we may not play all the time, but we want to, or those touchy little wedge shots without sticking our club right into the grass and having it stick there.
That's right, and that is the grading work that we're talking about that's going to improve the playability. But the most drastic changes to our surrounds is just like the fairway work, we're going to get rid of all the clay that's in here and we're going to sand cap it with sand, which is going to make it drain better and it's going to make it play firmer where you can hit wedge, bump and run shots without it getting sticky. You can also choose to putt instead of chip, when before you couldn't do that because of our awkward transitions from the green surround onto the green. This area behind us is a good example of drainage. Not just from after rain events like we had a couple of days ago, but when we run our regular irrigation, this area that just funnels right here collects water. All of this is going to be sand capped and drainage installed so that we don't have this around our greens. We're on hole number 2 right now. I just want to give you an example of the amount of green surround work that we're going to be doing in this project. Each hole is different, but most of them will be similar to this hole. From the collar here, taking out the clay, sand capping, adding all the drainage, just like we talked about, installing the Tahoma Bermuda grass. He's going to come all the way out to about here, where there will be a consistent line across the fairway, and all the work from us to the green is going to be improved with sand capping, drainage installed, etc. It's going to make huge improvements to our golf course.
All right, so Josh, finally, we're here on number 1, and let's talk about, I think what everybody knows is coming and wants to hear about is the greens. The greens themselves, what are we doing? Take it from there.
Yep. Right now we've got Champion Bermuda grass that was installed in 2012. Over time, the different grasses will start growing into your Bermuda in different ways. As you can see, these splotches of green inside the green, it's a different Bermuda grass. This is contamination, what you were saying. Contamination is grass that's supposed to be outside of the green that found its way back onto the green, and it gets worse over time. This is a good time of year to see this. Also, what happens in our greens is mutations start growing in it, which is a little bit different than contamination. Contamination's tracked onto the green, and it's the same exact grass that's outside of the green. Mutations is a different grass that just grows within the Bermuda plant over time. You can't see that this time of year, but if you were playing golf out here during the summertime, it would stick out like a camouflage look while you were playing, which brought very inconsistency to the greens. What we're going to be doing to these greens is taking out the top 4 inches of our root mix and replacing that with a USGA spec sand. Once we have that USGA spec sand in, we're then going to sprig with Tiff Eagle Bermuda grass. Right now we have Champion, we're going with Tiff Eagle. It's a more consistent grass over time. A lot of the golf courses around here and throughout the Southeast is using it. It's a fantastic choice of grass. But once we get all of this taken out, all of that put in, we're going to have one grass type here, which is going to improve the playability of the green that Tim's going to talk about.
Yeah, so Josh, before we talk about playability, are we going to mess, or are we going to adjust anything with slopes of greens?
We're not going to mess with any type of slopes in the greens. What our normal slopes are now is exactly what we're going to have after this project.
Okay, great. But I think playability-wise, from what I understand, you know, Tiff Eagle, and I just played a Tiff Eagle golf course. It seems like forever ago, but it wasn't that long ago. It was in October. But I think what we can expect is a little bit firmer greens, especially when we reopen in September. Very firm, relatively fast. But the thing I'm most excited for is very true roll, less grainy. And just a very smooth roll. Obviously, we're not going to be putting through, you know, the splotches like this, the mutation where we go from a darker green to a lighter green like we did last summer. So I'm very excited, very excited.
Yes, the greens are going to play much firmer. That is just something that happens naturally when you redo the surface. Over time, they will soften up and play a little bit more forgiving. Mm-hmm. But we will experience firmer conditions, but more importantly, better roll in more consistent conditions once you're on the green.
All right, Josh, well, thank you again. Thanks for taking the time today. And membership, if you guys want to learn more, we do have another town hall coming up Monday, the 24th of February. We're going to have a town hall meeting that I think starts at 6 o'clock. We're going to have our annual meeting right after that at 7. It's going to be very, very similar to our last town hall meeting in January. So if you weren't able to make that one, you're able to make this one great. And obviously, we'll send out a little recap afterwards as well for those who aren't able to attend. But Josh, I'm going to thank you in advance for all the hard work you and your team are going to put in here in the next couple months, and thanks for putting this together over the last year and a half, just to enhance the offerings to the membership here at the club.
Yep, I'm excited to get started.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey guys, it's George on our brand new pickleball courts, and just behind me, they're finishing up the pickleball lines on one of our tennis hard courts, and the cabanas are up, and the tennis courts will be ready, finished today. When you see that video, actually today is Friday, but when you see the video, those courts and our entire facility will be ready. Also, looking forward to seeing everybody on Sunday afternoon for our annual couples, Valentine's, Sweetheart Pickleball Mixer. And the following Friday, we are hosting the Slice Annual Chili Cook-Off, and we're going to do a pickleball round robin for anyone who wants to sign up for that. So looking forward to a couple of great things, and finally, so happy that your facility is up and ready to be played on. Thanks for your patience. We'll see you soon.
Hey y'all, Matt here.
Myra here.
We got lots to talk about here at Slice. Go ahead, Myra.
Be sure to check out our weekly features on the website. And don't forget, Wednesday is wing night and Thursday is stromboli night.
Also, don't forget, next Friday night is the chili cook-off from 6 to 8 p.m. Come on down, bring your best chili. We have pickleball also. You don't have to play pickleball, but come in and enjoy the chili. Come try it out and pick the best one. And don't forget, we have here, you want to hold one?
I'll hold one.
New wine here at Slice, Mom Juice. So try it out. Jeff said it's great stuff. You can buy it by the bottle or get it by the glass. Hopefully we'll see you soon.
Hey
Hey River Run, it's Maddie, your Wildcat manager. I just wanted to say thank you for everyone who came out to the club this weekend and celebrated Valentine's Day with us, starting with all of the fun things going on at Slice, our girls' night out at the Wildcat, and finishing off with our chef's table on Friday. I hope you guys all had a fun romantic evening with us. I also wanted to let you know that we do have a sake tasting coming up this coming Thursday on the 20th. It's hosted by our own Dr. Graham, so be sure to sign up on the member website and get a spot while there are still spots left. It's going to be so much fun, lots of food and lots of good sake tasting. I also wanted to let you know that with our new system update, we're also going to be updating the way that we get our reservations in. So starting on March 1st, or if you have a reservation for any time in March, please make sure you're giving Priscilla at the receptionist desk a call, and we'll be sure to write it down for you, and then we'll input it into our new system once it launches. Thank you guys for being so patient as we go through this transition, and I hope you have a wonderful week.